Hey guys, I'm here to give y'all an update on my intuitive eating journey. Whew. So buckle up and get ready because your mind might be about to be blown. I wanted to talk about the steps of intuitive eating. There are 10 of them, and the first one is probably the hardest, the most eye-opening, and the most difficult to accept. And we're going to get into what I mean by that. Principle number one is to reject all diet mentality. And you guys know, even in the comments of my last couple of videos, when people would say things, like we've heard that before. I come from a Weight Watching background, and we all remember that slogan of diets don't work, Weight Watchers does. Well, not that I'm painting Weight Watchers as evil or malicious in any way, but Weight Watchers is actually a diet. They have a very clever marketing department that may want you to think otherwise. In their defense, they probably are the most sensible diet. They are one of the ones that I was able to do successfully. Never really seemed to totally stick. Like I would still, like if I ever stopped tracking, my weight would kind of creep back up. We're gonna go over why this happens. I recently saw in the news, did any of you guys watch The Biggest Loser? I don't watch it anymore, but I did like back in the day. It was kind of a big deal television show. Allie Vincent won. She was, I believe, the first woman to win The Biggest Loser. She was awesome. Like, I was so impressed with her. I just loved her personality. I think she's really a great person. And I read this week that she had regained all her weight back, and I was like, no, I just wanted to cry. She seems like such a sweet person, and I can just relate to her struggle so much. And I know a lot of y'all can too. A lot of us are professional dieters, or we've tried lots of things. I mean, I've tried just some of the few that I have tried. Atkins, paleo, low carb, high fat, Weight Watchers, South Beach, Slim Fast. Those are just a few of the ones that I can recall right now that I've tried. And none of them have worked for me permanently. Weight Watchers was probably my favorite out of all those because they are the most like sensible. I'm kind of like a everything in moderation kind of girl. And like I even created a whole blog about it, like how to lose weight from a positive mindset and try to not feel deprived and all these things. I can see myself, it's so interesting, I can see myself like tiptoeing down this path of diets don't work, diets don't work. And I can see like the patterns there, but I think I'm onto something with this intuitive eating thing. Let me tell you the number one reason why I don't think that diets work. Diets don't work because weight is never the problem. Just sit and think about that for a second. Weight is not the problem. And every single diet that you try, even Weight Watchers, the end goal is to lose weight, okay? That's the goal, lose weight. In my professional life, I have some project management experience, and I did some Six Sigma training and even got a certification. A lot of you are going like, yawn, like what does that mean? That basically means that I know how to pick apart problems and find root causes. And let me just tell you, if you are overweight, your weight is not the root cause of your problem. Like, just sit and think about that. And that's the only thing that diets are trying to solve is the weight. Not only that, but there is an idea floating around out there that our entire society has this weight bias or thin bias. Like everything goes back to weight. Like anybody, any doctor or even nutritionist, even like eating disorder recovery people are trained in this, what they call thin bias framework. And it all comes back to they're trying to reduce your weight. When like the way I'm looking at things now, weight is just a byproduct of your overall health. Okay? Just let that sink in for a second. You're not trying to lose weight. You're trying to get in a right relationship with food, quit stress eating, quit dieting. What makes it not as simple as weight being the target, because people are overweight for just a variety of reasons and it can vary. Like, here's my problem, or I won't even say the word problem. Like, here's my situation. I just had a baby. Okay? Like, that's biology. It's meant for you to put on some weight when you give birth and even while you're breastfeeding. I think that is normal and natural. And for someone who doesn't have any kind of food issues and doesn't diet, based on this theory, your weight should go down if you just start eating intuitively again. Don't diet, because that makes us crazy, makes us deprived, makes us overeat. I have a few other issues layered on top of that. I've dieted a lot of my life, so I have like a dieter mentality. And also I have a tendency to eat when life gets hard, like to misuse food a little bit. I am not severe enough to like be officially diagnosed with like an eating disorder. And I'm starting to see like there's a whole spectrum like of us that have some dysfunctional eating. And I would venture to say that probably most women fall into this category somewhere on that spectrum. And you may not even stay totally dysfunctional. You may kind of bounce around on the spectrum depending on what kind of day you're having. And it's all because we're trying to be thin or lose weight. That is the wrong target, y'all. If you get nothing else from this, two things. If you get nothing else from this video, weight loss is the wrong goal. And number two, don't beat yourself up about it. And diets really are just like sets of rules to beat yourself up about, because they don't really work. They just make us gain weight. The irony is, like, people try to make intuitive eating a diet, and like I was even doing this on my first week intuitive eating. It's like you're still in that mind frame like, oh, this is going to show me how to lose weight. No, this is going to show you how to not be crazy about food. And when you get that straightened out, then your weight will normalize. Yes, you might lose weight. You may not look like a bikini model, but who of us does anyway? The goal is to have a good relationship with food, to not restrict yourself, and eat things that make you healthy. Like, part of me even starts to doubt this a little bit. Like, the dieter in me is like, but what if you gain weight? Again, like, in your mind, in the framework that we're operating in, like, that's the worst thing that can happen is gain weight. But I'm here to tell you it's not the worst thing that can happen. It's just a side effect of other things that are potentially wrong or just need to be redirected. If it turns out that diets are the problem, if not part of the problem, the entire problem, how tragic is that? Like, how much time and energy and mind space and money and just how much time have we spent obsessing over what we eat for the sake of losing weight? Hey guys, I started this video yesterday and Mallory started screaming. Something's wrong with her. She's either got her first cold or she might even be teething. She just started screaming during the video and I had to go get her, and that takes precedence over filming a video. And my hair looked much cuter yesterday. I'm rocking the ponytail today, and not even like a cute chic ponytail, like a I need to wash my hair ponytail. So I'm just gonna put vanity aside because I feel like it's really important that I finish this video, and I guess it's a good thing this isn't a beauty channel. Okay, so we were talking about rejecting the diet mentality. Well, that brings up instantly a couple questions to my mind, like, number one, what is a diet? I think how this book and kind of how I'm coming around to thinking is the definition of a diet is anything that tells you what or how much to eat for the sake of weight loss. Anything that tells you to ignore your intuition. A bunch of people in the comments, or several people in the comments last time, mentioned either they were going to track for life or that their full button was broken. And that's something that I've kind of said myself, like I can't control myself around certain foods, or my full button is broken. I am starting to think that weight loss is the wrong target, like it's the wrong goal. What's so interesting to me about the full button being broken, like diets are partially responsible for that mindset. Like a diet tells us like you don't know what you're doing. It goes against your biology. That's why they're so hard to stick to, because you're basically slowly starving yourself. I have a theory, and it's like a hypothesis. Do I sound like an 8th grade science project? This is my hypothesis. But what I was saying is I have a theory that if you turn your attention to your health, like truly, specifically stopping dysfunctional eating habits, listening to your intuition, eating without guilt, without all this mental stuff going on, I think that your weight will normalize. By normalize, I mean somewhere near the healthy BMI range. Now, there are some schools of thought that say that that range is a thin or has a thin bias. I'm not totally convinced of that yet. I'm not sure. Like, I think the range is somewhere close to, quote, normal weight. Maybe it's not exactly what they say. I don't know. I don't know what I really think about that yet. I think that's going to be the hardest part of rejecting the diet mentality. Like, you just feel like I'm giving up control of the weight loss goal. And that's been like so ingrained in us that there's so many programs out there that tell you like, I can show you how to lose weight. And they can. A lot of them work, but at what cost? I was listening to a business podcast the other day. The host was interviewing this girl who had started a business, and it was very successful, and she ended up selling the business because she wasn't happy, and she realized that like wasn't her life's work. And everybody was going, what are you doing? You're so successful. And she described it like this, and I thought it was so cool. She said, it's like I was trying to climb up a building. Just think of like a downtown, like New York City or something, and all these tall buildings around. She's like, it's like I was clawing my way to the top of a building. And I mean, all the logistical analogies you can go here, even with weight loss, like trying to figure out where to put your foot and how to put your hands, and then just years and years of climbing and climbing and climbing. And she's like, I got to the top and looked around and realized, oh my gosh, I climbed the wrong building. All of my efforts and all of my stress and heartache, I'm not happy at the top of this building. And I feel like that's what we do with weight loss. Like, if the only goal or the goal is to lose weight, I think a lot of us get there and either gain it back or still have issues. And I think what our intuition is trying to tell us is that you climbed the wrong building. What if weight is really just like an arbitrary number? What if it's like your height? I don't know if I believe that, or if that's just like the thin bias, like in my brain. I don't know. Why I think one of the reasons this is like the most important part of intuitive eating is because you can make intuitive eating into a diet. Like, if the goal is to lose weight, it's still a diet. And so what is so important is you don't want to use intuitive eating as another stick to beat yourself up with. That's what diets basically end up being for me. It's just a different set of rules that you have to follow. It's very hard, that goes against your intuition and against your biology. And it becomes like, rather than when it doesn't work or when you can't follow it, you never say like, it's the diet's fault. You say, oh, it's my fault. You take it so personally and beat yourself up. And that's just like part of that crazy cycle I was talking about. I can flash up a graphic here. I already showed this in a previous video, but I think it's really important. If you deprive yourself, you are going to have an impulsive break, and you're going to eat the things that you're not supposed to. It's just the way our minds work. I think that's going to be really hard for me. Like, even in my last like what I ate video, which I can link below, I can like still, it's going to be very hard to break that diet mentality. I can still see myself like analyzing what I ate, like almost like intuitive eating is like, oh, I still have to eat healthy and for weight loss, but I just have to pretend like I like it. No! If you mess with your intuitive signals, then, you know, if you're still like making weight loss the goal, it's still a diet. So to me, like, another diet is never the answer. That's one of the problems with our society. They say, oh, you're just on the wrong diet. If you come around to our way of eating, then it'll be different this time. That's just not true. Any different diet is just a new set of rules that tell you that you don't know how to eat, that you don't know how to feed yourself. I think that is what really messes us up. That's the irony, because we come into this world knowing exactly how to eat and exactly how much to eat. Like Mallory, if I'm feeding her a bottle and she's full, like, she literally like turns her head, she will start spitting out milk, like she's done. So y'all, this rejecting the diet mentality thing, it's gonna be both really liberating to let go of, but also kind of scary, because I want to believe it, but also like, and I want to trust my body, but it's kind of scary, honestly, because for so many years it has been ingrained in me, like, you can't trust your body, you need to measure everything. Don't eat till you're full, measure it out on the food scale, and that'll tell you how much to eat. I think another important thing, and the book talks about this, is something called the Last Supper mentality. I think I had this, y'all, when I was pregnant. Like, I could totally relate to this. Oh, I'm only gonna be able to eat this for a little bit longer. After that, I have to go back on a diet. It's real interesting. Like, I wonder if I had not had that Last Supper mentality, like if I would have even put on as much weight as I did during my pregnancy. But that Last Supper mentality, in the book, it says it comes into play a lot when you first start giving yourself unconditional permission to eat anything. You might go kind of overboard, like that's part of the process. You might even gain weight. That's really hard for me to swallow. And I think that's that diet mentality. You just totally have to reject it. I mean, that makes me nervous to trust myself, but I think for right now, I'm just going to lean into it and just kind of see what happens. I've been restricting myself for years, even when I didn't necessarily realize it. So I think it's going to take some time for that to wear off. But I think once all that's out of my system, like, I think that my weight will normalize. I don't think this is my natural set point. I just had a baby, and I do think my weight will go back down. I just have to kind of trust the process and learn to trust my body and my biology. And just remember, like, 50 years ago, there were hardly any diets. Like, hardly anybody dieted. And nobody, or not many people, were overweight. All right, I feel like this is already such a long video. What do you guys think about all this? Like, I'd be interested to hear. Over the years, I've started to realize how good my actual intuition is, not even having anything to do with food, but it's kind of scary sometimes. Like, we will meet somebody and they'll be perfectly nice, and like, I'll just kind of think to myself, like, something's off about that person. This has happened a few times, like more than once or twice. It's happened a lot over the years. And I'm like, no. Like, I'm being snobby, or just give that person the benefit of the doubt. And then, like, something will happen either a few years later, and I'm like, oh, okay. It makes sense why I felt that way now. I'm not saying that misunderstandings never happen, but I've just learned that my intuition is really good most of the time. And so I need to trust that with food too. And it's scary. It's so scary. But I'm really fascinated to see what happens with this. If it turns out that diets are the problem, like, I want to spend the rest of my life like telling people to get off diets, stop dieting. It's the most self-destructive thing. I listened to a podcast. It's called Food Psych. I've only listened to like 2 episodes, so I can't like totally endorse the entire podcast. What I've heard so far has been really, really good. So I'm going to link the episode that I listened to below that a lot of these thoughts are coming from. And I don't know if I fully believe everything they were saying, but in some ways I wonder if that's like the thin bias in the dieter's mentality. in me because it's been so ingrained. Listen to it and let me know what you guys think. Just a heads up, there is some adult language and some adult themes, so I would not listen to that in front of kids. It really challenged my thinking. So if you guys have time, it's really long too, so if you have time, listen to it and let me know what you think. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up because this video has been long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.